All right. There we go. Bum, bam, bum, boop. There we go. Yeah. So, there's more Lilo and Stitch stuff that I found this morning, or at lunch break somewhere around lunch, I think. By the way, I made some bomb flat eggs with some meat. Holy shit, that was good.
Lilo
Anyway.
and Stitch 2025 is
Yeah,
the
please
latest in
tell
the
me
Disney
about
lineup
it.
to end up on the live-action chopping board. They've once again taken some creative liberties that differ from the original,
Yeah.
and they've once again made it so much worse.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well,
Yup,
not that shocked.
shocked.
Including a complete change to the film's ending, which I absolutely have to talk about, but don't worry,
the
it
ending,
will be in a
it's
separate spoiler
fucking
section
weird.
towards the end of this video.
By the way,
original
yeah,
Lilo and
spoilers, that's
Stitch
the
came out
spoiler
in
point.
2002, which was at the end of Disney's cinematic 2D animated films era, before they fully made the shift over to CGI.
I
Although
hate that.
not technically the final 2D animated release, I would say it was the final successful 2D animated release.
Goddamn.
So in that sense, it is kind of seen as that last
16-wheeler,
farewell
bro.
from the bygone era. It was a film that managed to blend intense action with well-timed comedy, but also have a simplistic, yet heartwarming focus on the concept of family and belonging. And despite being a late entry into the Disney animated movies, it managed to quickly secure itself as one of the all-time great classics, becoming such a hit with audiences that it spawned a television series, multiple sequels.
I watched it
and
recently,
even
like a few
anime.
months ago.
So of course
The movie,
live action
the
would
first
come
one.
along and
It
completely
was so
botch all of
nice.
that. No, seriously, because of how the live action film ends, it completely makes all of the sequels and spin-offs non-canon. But hey, let's start off with the good, because there are some good aspects with this new film. I think Stitch actually looks really good in this, and his character is still very much true to that of the original, even with Chris Sanders, who voiced Stitch in the original, once again coming back to reprise his role. And even though over 20 years have passed since the original release, he still sounds just like he did back in 2002. The film's opening sequence, along with the CGI aliens, also looks pretty decent. For the whole, 5 minutes that they're in the film for.
Yeah.
But still.
The only thing
good.
that,
the girl who
fits
plays Lilo
the
also
old
does a pretty
movie.
decent job. There are some moments where she feels a little off in places, but she's a child
It's a
actor, so I'm
child.
not going to be too harsh on her. And
Yeah,
apparently
she's
this
not-
is her
she's
first
good,
big
man,
screen
she's good.
appearance. So, you know what? Fair play. And there are actually some changes that they made in this film that do actually benefit it from the original. Such as how Stitch overhears Jumper and Pleakley talking about how they're not allowed to hurt humans, so it gives him more reasoning as to why he would want to get adopted, whereas in the original he just kind of assumes it to be the case. There was also a scene at the end, don't worry this really isn't a spoiler, where Lilo and Stitch are drowning in the ocean. Lilo can't lift Stitch to the surface, so Stitch willingly lets go of her hand and effectively sacrifices himself so that Lilo can go on. It's a nice contrast to earlier on in the film where he was drowning and was aggressively trying to climb on top of Lilo and ends up accidentally taking her down in the process, and plays more into his weakness of not being able to swim in water. Yeah, that's about all the good I can think of.
We're done
So
with
onto
the
the
good
bad.
part. And we're 3 minutes into the 12-minute video. Hell yeah! Let's talk about everything that's bad in the movie. Let's go! Windows closed. Good.
A lot more cringe humor and interactions between the characters. It very much has that Marvel humor kind of vibe to it. You know, where it feels like they just have to make a little quip or gag every 10 seconds.
There's not a single serious moment in the movie, apparently. Every serious movie is like, quick one-liner, quick one-liner, quick one-liner. Man.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's present here. The humor itself also feels
It's like being at gunpoint and then just saying, oh, you wouldn't dare press it, right? And then getting shot.
a lot more childish, such as Stitch farting in a punch bowl, wiping his ass across the floor, with even more burp jokes.
I mean, no, the burp jokes are on point. Honestly, the burp jokes are on point.
The original, where Lilo tells
with
David,
Stitch.
Don't worry. She likes her butt and fancy hair. I know. I read her diary.
Well, now they've changed that to, I've read her text messages. How
That's
could
so
you see that?
stupid. Why? That makes no sense. If you're gonna futurize this part, why is she still drawing in a textbook instead of an iPad? Why is she not an iPad kid? And if she is an iPad kid, why does she want a fucking dog?
Kids, this isn't your dad's film. This is the modern film.
How
Even though
modern.
mobile
Yeah.
phones were already a thing back in
Right?
2002.
The texting part would have made more sense back then because it was new and, you know, modern and stylish. Nowadays, it's just a messaging tool. You know, people don't actually text anymore. They FaceTime. You know, the teenage stuff. Not in general, but you
They
know.
even make a TikTok reference towards the end of the film.
A
This film
fucking TikTok reference. Yay!
also feels like it's been dumbed down from the original, such as when the alien queen says that Stitch won't be able to survive in water because of his
I
molecular
hate that part
density.
specifically.
In the original film, that was it.
He won't survive in water. His molecular density is too great.
But in this one, when she
Yeah,
says that,
yeah, the people who are obviously intelligent enough to steer the ship and operate these high-tech machines know what molecular density is. But in the live-action movie,
all of the ship's crew go, huh? And so she has to explain, oh, it means he will sink in water. Like, did we really
The
need that to
fuck?
be spoon-fed to us?
Apparently.
Jumpman and Bleaky are now played by live-action humans for the most
but
part.
I can't blame them. This is a children's movie, right? Bruh. You know, I can't even blame them. It's a children's movie. And with all the iPad kids and TikTok brain rot that's going around, you know, it's realistic. It's not a movie for us. It's a movie for the new people, for the little people, or, you know, the 10-year-olds. Little Timmy with his iPad, who is on his mom's phone in the theater and has not put it on silent mode. And every time his mom tries to take the phone to put it on silent mode, he cries out. That's what's happening right now.
And I kind of get this. I guess from a budgeting perspective, it makes it easier to have actual humans play the part rather than using CGI creatures. But it also
Bruh.
makes sense from a logical
You're right,
perspective.
Sirhood, bruh.
In the original, it's quite comical at how they are obviously aliens in weak disguises. In
Yep.
fact, it's even commented on at one point.
Head looks swollen.
Actually, she's just ugly.
But
Bro, that is the... You could have done that. You could have just made it that the Hawaiians are just that welcoming. That, you know, that they see an alien are like, oh. But in the next second, they're like, whatever. Aloha! You know? You could have done that so easy. It's not difficult to explain at all. Sure, the tourists would have been, whoa, but they would have just made pictures, right? And no one on the internet would have believed them. It's like, oh, that's CGI. Oh, I mean, it's true, it's CGI, right? But still. Bro, you could have done so much. Also at the beginning. Oh, that's
in the
it's
live
coming.
action,
It's
where the
coming. It's
world is
coming.
now
It's
real,
coming. Not
it's
too
a lot
fast.
harder to sell this and make it seem believable that these two could blend in.
No,
I'm
they
not re-
they didn't blend in the original movie. How are you doing today? I'm already freaked the fuck out. where there's more Lilo and Stitch stuff that is bad, like so bad.
Really a fan of Jumba's
how
new
are
voice
you?
in this. It is way too high pitched and nasally compared to his deep Russian accent.
Yeah,
from the
they fucked
original.
up his voice. How?
Start traveling, please.
Bro, he's an everyday guy now instead of a special Jumba. You know?
Russian accent from the original.
Start traveling, please.
Monstrosity! What you
Yes!
see before you is the first of a new species.
And I'm not even saying that as
Like,
in,
what the
oh,
fuck?
it doesn't
How
sound
could
like the
you?
original, therefore bad.
No, it has no uniqueness. I had really tasty burger with lean turkey patties, and I'm feeling amazing. Oh, good for you!
More from
I'm
the fact that
fucking
a high-pitched,
freaking out!
nasally voice just doesn't suit his large, lumbering design. The
Yeah.
opening scene where Stitch escapes from the ship is cut down,
Nice.
which is arguably one of the best
At
scenes in
least
the
one
original.
good
Yet here it goes
thing
straight
today.
From him breaking out of the room to immediately flying off with the
Yeah,
police
exactly.
cruiser. Oh, and there's no mention or use of the ugly duckling story,
Which is
I found
also fucking
surprising,
bad.
as it was kind of a big theme in the original. As
It was the start when Stitch started to have positive feelings, when the positive in him started to fight the negative inside him. Like, what the fuck? How can you just skip that? I sent you a picture of the burger. Yeah, well, hold on. I'll see it after. No ugly duckling, 0 out of 10. Yeah, exactly.
Stitch's isolation and wanting
Look
for
at this. How can you look at this heartwarming yet heart-ripping scene and say, nah, scrap it. We can do better. What?
family. There's also been some new characters added into the film, and I say new characters in quotation marks, as these characters don't actually offer anything new to the film, but rather just fill in some of the roles that were previously occupied by the older characters. For example, in the original, we had Clover Bubbles, who was the social worker, who later turned out to be a former CIA agent. And now he's just been split into two, where we now have a pure social worker character, and Bubbles...
I can tell you why. I can tell you why they have a new social worker. Because men cannot be social workers in the new modern age, because men should do physical work, you know. But women still should be career women and go get that bag, you know? It's not a bad thing. But if it's pushed to this degree, and even in our old movies, then fuck them! Holy shit! Brotherhood is also fucking...
have a pure social worker character, and Bubbles is now just a CIA agent.
Like,
and
what the fuck? He was retired!
I don't get why, as it now makes him far less involved in the story, and when it's revealed at the end that he is CIA...
The CIA already knew about the Intergalactic Federation, buddy! Why is he trying to figure something out? He should already know. He's informed.
We, the audience, are like, yeah, we know. We've been seeing you do that throughout the whole movie. And for the other characters, it's like, sorry, who are you? We've barely interacted. They've also added this new neighbor character, who, again, doesn't offer anything new to the story, but instead just does some of the stuff that Nani did in the original.
She could have... You remember the old nice lady at the vegetable stand? She could have played that part perfectly, no? I had an actual retype my random letter spam 3 times because the first letters were... I see. Even your hands know what you are. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, she could have perfectly... Look at the hat. Cast the vegetable stand old lady, the nice old lady with hearing problems. Perfectly. Perfect. Holy shit, you couldn't have not got a better cast for that character than her. Seriously. She has the look and everything. All that's missing are the oversized glasses. Holy shit.
For anything new to the story, but instead just does some of the stuff that Nani did in the original, which is not only pointless, but it also kind of ruins Nani's character.
Yeah!
As in this version, it's the neighbor who takes Lilo to go get the dog.
That's fucking retarded!
And Nani
is supposed to be the caring older sister who took Lilo in because she wanted to keep the family together. Ohana means family. Did we forget the reason of the show? Ah!
It's the neighbor who takes Lilo to go get the dog, and not Nani. And Nani didn't even agree for Lilo to get a dog in the first place. Like, why would you change that? In the original, Nani agrees to let Lilo have a dog because she wants to make her happy. It shows us that she does care for her. Even down to the more subtle stuff, such as the interaction where Lilo comes up with the name Stitch, the shelter worker tells her that Stitch isn't a very good name, and Nani...
I know it would have been extremely expensive, but Terry Crews would have been perfect for Bubbles. Hold on, who the hell is Terry Crews? Terry Crews picture. Oh my god, that's even better! That's better than. Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Oh, that's even better than Dwayne Johnson. Holy shit, you're right. Oh my god, you're a genius. You're a genius. Fuck.
Stitch, the shelter worker tells her that Stitch isn't a very good name, and Nani interjects in order to protect Lilo's feelings. It's little moments like that which shows us that Nani does in fact care for Lilo, and so I don't know why they would want to take that away. Even
to make her go get that bag. She's gonna be a modern woman that is focused on her career, not her family. She's gonna not give a fuck about her family and, you know, go get that bag. Go, yeah, you know, you do your own thing. That's gonna happen, right? And that's gonna be the message. Everything's gonna be fine, even if the... Thank you. Thank you for trying to calm me down, but it's really not the right moment, Mervat. Girl, gotta get that bag. Or hold on. Girl, gotta get that bag.
care for Lilo, and so I don't know why they would want to take that away.
Yeah.
Even other moments, such as in the
I just
original, where
wanted to
Nani
touch
gets
you.
fired from her job, Lilo asks if it was because of her and Stitch, and Nani lies to her and says no, because again, she wants to protect Lilo's feelings.
Did you lose your job because of Stitch and me?
Nah, the manager's a vampire.
Whereas in this new one, she's like, yeah, it was your fault.
Like
why
what?
do that? Yeah, we know that Nani isn't perfect and that she makes mistakes, but it was these moments of self...
That face when she saw her own cooked food. Like, holy shit. Bro, she almost got the Aspen bald haircut. So shocked she was.
But it was these moments of selflessness and willingness to put Lilo first that showed us she was a good person.
Yes,
and thus
she
really made you want
was
to
a
root
good
for her to
person.
succeed.
She just, her hairline got scared. Look the difference. Yeah, no, she was a good person. She just didn't have it all together, right? She was struggling. She was struggling, yet doing the best she could with what she had and tried to get more. It just didn't work. Good one. Bro.
But by far the worst part of Nani is what they did with her at the end. Which, yeah, now we're going to get into the spoiler section. So if you don't want to hear this stuff, you can click off the video now.
We're
so
not
they have
gonna...
it at the end where Nani...
Hold on. Anyone wanna watch the movie on Discord with me? And I don't know how I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna talk while doing it, or if we're all just gonna type someday. I mean, we can do it tomorrow at like a few hours before stream. You know, that'd be something. Or after stream today, if I don't stream for too long. I don't want to have a 10-hour stream again. I really don't. But sounds good to me. How do you guys want to do it? Do I talk like with a mic? You guys are still muted like in the stream, or are we all muted and we all type, or how are we gonna do this? How we doing this? Don't even have a mic, it's broken. Oh no, yeah. No, I have... Fun fact, the first movie I saw as a baby was Lilo and Stitch, and when I got back, one of my pet dogs died. Oh. Oh no. That's terrible, man. It feels bad when that happens. Oh. Ah, man.
Nani doesn't end up getting custody of Lilo, and instead, Lilo now goes to live with the neighbor and David next door.
Like
to which
what?
they say,
So Nani, instead of getting custody for Lilo like in the original movie, and the whole circle of Ohana means family, even in difficult times, gets thrown out the window. It just means nothing. Doesn't matter how close your family is, it's just gonna go. And without, you know, no actual happy ending.
Lilo now goes to live with the neighbor and David next door. To which they say, oh, it's okay, Nani. Now this means you can go away to study marine biology.
Yeah,
in
but why?
which she does. What? First up, the whole subplot of Nani wanting to go away and study, I swear was barely mentioned in the whole film. But two, doesn't this destroy the entire plot of the film? Wasn't the whole point that Nani was fighting tooth and nail just so that her and Lilo could remain together?
That's
And they
exactly
do try
it.
and backpedal this a bit with the whole, oh well, Nani is able to use the portal gun to visit Lilo while she's away, so technically they're still together. But no, this still ruins the entire point of the film. Because if the option of having Lilo being able to simply move next door was available,
The
then
whole
why
movie
would
would
there
not
be any
have
major
happened.
conflict to begin with?
The
It
whole
also
movie
kind of
would
makes
never have
David's
happened
inclusion
except
in the
for
film
Stitch
rather
ending.
irrelevant, as him and Nani don't actually end up together, whereas in the original he was much more like that supportive father figure. Whereas
Yeah.
in this one, he's just a bit of a bumbling...
The stepdad who stepped up! Ohana means family. I don't know if I spelled correctly. Until I send you to live with the neighbors. Like, what? Yeah. Yeah, no. In this movie, he's not the stepdad who stepped up. I mean, he wouldn't have been even in the animated movie, but you know what I mean, right? The meme with stepdad who stepped up, right? But just throwing it away?
comedy relief who says cringe-inducing lines like, oh yeah, I like shredding you, Nani. I mean, I like watching you shred.
That's so good! There is no way! Did you... Delayed but perfect? No, it's all as God intended. Well, except this monstrosity of a movie, but you know what I mean.
Yes, that's an actual line in the film. And then
Oh my
finally, we
God.
have the biggest change of the film, and that's making the decision to have Jumba as the main
True.
villain.
Yeah, that's just...
What?
Yes, you know
Yeah,
how
what?
in the original, Jumba agrees to help rescue Lilo, and as a result becomes like another member of the family?
Yeah.
Well, in this take,
Perfect.
there is no Captain Gantu, so Jumba ends up filling the role of the villain. My theory as to why they did this is that they were trying to reduce the amount of CGI aliens as much as possible in order to reduce the film's budget, and so
Yeah,
as
look-
a result, decided to scrap Captain Gantu altogether, and then just haphazardly make Jumba the villain instead. Because, okay, I'll admit, Jumba's sudden willingness to help in the original does kind of happen in an instant. In
No,
fact,
that-
the film even jokes about this.
You expect me to help you just like that? Just like that? Fine.
But there were signs early on that he wasn't essentially a bad person.
Yeah. The whole thing about Jamba is that he himself is not evil. He's not bad. He has a little bit of a bad side. He's more of an eccentric, but, you know, didn't expect it to get this much worse. Yeah, exactly. No, Jamba was never evil. He tried to create something that is absolutely evil to represent him as someone who's evil. But because he never could become evil himself, he never could get over the fact that he was good. He was evil. He tried to be evil and wanted to be evil so bad ignoring his true nature, which was lawful, chaotic, or something at most, but good deep down, right? That he tried to create something that was truly evil, Stitch, but Stitch himself showed that even then, his creation became good, like he himself did. I think this is the moment where Stitch asks him for help, that he realized that he doesn't have to ignore his nature anymore. It's a really deep cut for children, but if you think about it, it actually makes sense.
As he would begin to note at how Stitch's behavior.
But making him the main antagonist, the villain, makes sense if you don't think about it. That's the only way it makes sense, right? Don't think about it.
Behavior was beginning to change.
Let's go back a little bit.
Person. As he would begin to note at how Stitch's behavior was beginning to change and how he started to become less aggressive towards him. And he even showed remorse at the fact that Lilo had gotten caught up in all the mess.
He could not have done
so
this
even though I say
if he was evil.
Full-on hero
He never was evil.
Original, I'd say
he tried to prove he is, but
even
failed.
More jarring in this version, as he is still presented as much of the same Jumba in the first half, even with him and Pleakley still having that comedy duo aspect to them. So when he suddenly starts behaving super sinister, it just feels out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just doesn't
having some abandonment
fit.
Issues from his past, which is
it's like trying to put on 2 right gloves on 2 left hands. It's like trying to wear 2 right shoes on 2 left feet, man. It's like putting on the t-shirt the wrong way. Trying to put your trousers on your hands instead of your legs. It just doesn't fit. Trying to wear children's clothes when you're an adult, it just doesn't fit. It rips apart. It just doesn't work. Why? It's like trying to eat soup with a knife and then cutting open your tongue. Yes.
Dialogue. So my guess is that if they do get a sequel...
What do you mean? That's exactly what I do, and it works perfectly fine. That's why you're an insane bastard.
Quickly uttered in a few lines of dialogue. So my guess is that if they do get a sequel, which I really hope they don't, but if they do, then I'm assuming they're going to set him up for some sort of future redemption arc. But either way, I felt this was completely the wrong decision, and it also meant that we didn't get the epic
wrong decision. This movie wasn't wrong decision.
Instead, we just simply have Stitch sabotage Jumba's ship and have it crash into the ocean. My speculation here is that the decision to remove Gantu was made quite late into production for budget reasons. Because not only does Jumba's shift feel incredibly rushed, but it would also explain as to why the opening scene is so abruptly cut down, just in order to remove any scenes that would involve Gantu.
I'm insane. What?
Anyway,
I'm being half deaf again. Sorry,
thoughts on
insane bastard.
Action, which has been made so much worse than the original.
That's what I said.
Well, what do you guys think? Did you go see
No, not
it?
that you're an actual
and what do you
bastard.
think of the creative changes that were made? Let me know in the comments.
So, okay, Steve reviews the first one. Check him out.